Today on Music Talk, we have Rolling Blackouts' Coastal Fever in the form of vocalist-guitarist Fran Keaney. He's here to tell us about making their brand new album, Endless Rooms, and how working in isolation during the pandemic helped his songwriting. So you excited about this record coming out? It's like
I'm so
4 days away, huh?
4 days away. I'm so excited about it. Yeah. It's the last time we released an album was good. It's always good, but this one's going to be different because we're going to be able to play shows in support of it, and
Right, yeah, that helps.
Feel a bit more real, I think. The other one was very intangible. It just went out into the ether, and that was it. But yeah, I'm very excited. It sort of feels like a birthday or something.
So when that happens, as a creative being that you are, you've made this record and then you can't follow up with all the other stuff. What does that do to you?
Honestly, yeah, it rearranges you a bit. I was here just in my little apartment when it went out, and it was like, and we'd done a lot of work obviously in making the album, but then in terms of promo and all of that, we did a lot of interviews, and we tried our best to make it as good a release as possible. But
Sure.
At the end of the day, it's a weird thing. I realized that if you're not playing shows in support of it, it's like the album doesn't exist in a moment in time. It's just another set of songs on the internet for people to access in their own time. And there isn't a shared communal experience of that album having a moment in time. And that was just quite sort of dejecting, because it just became the album went well, but it didn't feel like it actually got to have its time. And so honestly, after that process, I was pretty exhausted by it, and I didn't really want to write for a little while. I really I didn't necessarily think I never wanted to write again, but I just really couldn't think about that or muster the energy. But that only lasted all of about 3-4 weeks, because we were locked down and there was nothing else to do.
What else are you going to do? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and I wasn't going to try the sourdough thing. I didn't start that. And if I didn't start the sourdough, then I don't think I will. But so I just
draw the line somewhere.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. If not in a pandemic, then when.
Yeah.
So I just started writing songs on GarageBand and just doing it for the hell of it, rather than with any sense that any of the songs were going to have to go anywhere. Like, I was writing just like little 1-minute songs, it was just an idea. But then listening back to the demo, I was like, oh no, I like just writing. I like that as a 1-minute song. That's what that's supposed to be.
Right. And so when did it turn into something? Endless Rooms. When did it start taking?
So that was just that didn't go anywhere. That song was called Permanence, but that didn't go anywhere.
Right.
Like a lot of, you just got a lot of different ideas lying around. One of the songs I was working on was this disco song, which eventually became the last song on the album, Bounce Off the Bottom.
Right.
But initially it was just there's 3 sections in that song, Bounce Off the Bottom, and there's the B section and the C section was what I was working on. It sounded completely different, but then you just got all these different odds and ends lying around. A few months later, when I had the start of the song, very quickly I fell into the B section and C section in that, and then it came alive after that. So but it was good. It was really freeing to be writing without any sense that any of the songs would go anywhere, because you don't have this like little editor over your shoulder. As much as I don't like to admit it, I think it is the case that once you start putting albums out, you have this there's like an editor, or an editor gets into the room very quickly.
Yep.
And this helped that process, is that nobody was in the room, because I couldn't see anyone. It was against government restrictions. So there's no one in the room, and that really, it was a really freeing thing. And I think the other guys had the same sense, and I guess a lot of writers as well. Our own experience was that we were free. That it is an odd one when people talk about creativity in the pandemic. For me, it came in fits and starts. It was like either nothing or just a quick, like a burst. And most of the songs on this album that I wrote and there was a bunch that I wrote that didn't end up on the album. We recorded, but then we culled it down. But most of the songs I wrote in a burst of about a month or so.
Cool.
And I was happy enough at the end of it to go, oh, I'll close the book on that, and that will be my songs for this album. I'll leave that there.
So when you finally got back with the other guys in the band, what was it like? I mean, did you guys have common experiences? Did you talk about, what you went through or what you didn't go through or what you were thinking about?
Yeah, we don't talk too much about our lyrics and what we intend the songs to be, because honestly, I don't think we really intend much,
right?
Lyrically. Like it's better to, like, I find that with songs I listen back to that we've written, and 3 years later I go, oh, I see what I was talking about or thinking about at that time.
Yeah.
It just sort of comes out of you at the time. I suppose we're all in our own weird spots. It's funny how the pandemic affected people. It just ripped through like a wildfire and left some homes standing and other ones decimated. And everybody had their own unique experiences with it. For example, Tom in our band had recently, or in the midst of the pandemic, had a little baby.
Right.
And so that was, like he was coming to grips with, a completely changed lifestyle and a completely changed world. And all of us were coming to grips with, putting an album out, but not being able to tour to support it. And really the first time that we'd stopped for a number of years, a sense of sensory deprivation. I think that filters across all of our songs, that we've got a bit of the pandemic in there, but we were very determined we were wary to not have it be too much like a pandemic rock record.
Gotcha. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of that.
There is going to be a lot of that. Yeah, that's right. And so, I mean, there's one of the songs, the singles went out, My Echo, which is unashamedly written during the pandemic, but sort of an exaggerated melodramatic version of it. But so much of the album for me, when I'm listening to it now, and the recording process was just one of, like, it was just this life affirming thing for me, at least. I think the others as well. When we were finally able to get back together, there was just this sense of excitement and relief that I think the album sounds like that to me. It sounds like that, but even if some of the lyrics were written in it from a more claustrophobic time, it really feels open and excited and like a return to what we've always loved about the band.
So speaking of My Echo, I see that you performed that for the first time live, along with a bunch of others in Melbourne. I think just April 23rd it was that your gig was, where you kind of finally got to get these out of you on stage. So, and of course, this is like a year and a half or even longer, maybe, since you recorded them. So what is that process like for you? What is it? Do you have to kind of reconnect with the song and do something with it?
Yeah, you do. And yesterday we were having a practice of a lot of the other songs that we haven't played live yet, but we're getting those together. So yeah, it is a process of reimagining it a little bit because, for one, a song might have, like, one of the songs on the album is called Blue Eye Lake. It's got a number of guitar tracks, and you sort of you don't have all of the you don't have the benefits of heaps of tracks. Nor do you have the benefits of like mixing or anything. So you sort of need to find other tricks and crutches to make things hit, and and even just to restrict the attention a little bit. So focusing on groove and really getting people to lock in on that, and then maybe doubling a lead so that it all just is a bit stronger. Yeah, we were saying yesterday that live it's a case of like when you go out to a restaurant, there's just a bit more butter.
Well, that's always a good thing if you ask me.
That's right. Yeah, they just use a bit more butter. So yeah, that's. But you don't really get to. There's no amount of practice that really gives you a sense of how a song's going to go live, because it's not until you start playing it, and it's not so much how the audience are responding to it. It's just that you are performing it and you're all facing the same direction rather than, I don't know. It concentrates the mind a lot more, and you just you are very quickly able to go, oh no, this isn't working. Oh, this feels really good.
Right.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that, and the songs will they'll come to life pretty quickly, I think.
Now, speaking of come to life, so the album begins with a track called Pearl Like You, which is just like a minute long, and you can hear kind of bird song and tweeting and some very rural vibe. Then it kind of goes into Tidal River. So why did you start things off with like that?
Yeah, well, it felt right to sort of situate the album. It's just sort of like a little overture.
Right.
So that was written and played by Joe Russo, our bassist, who writes some really, really nice pieces of music. He writes songs, but a lot of the time he just writes these beautiful instrumentals. And he did a lot of that during the lockdown time. He had a loop pedal and would just make these little symphonies, like, surf guitar, surf rock symphonies and stuff. And that one was one of them. He had a synth version of it, and he had like a tremolo guitar version of it. And we tried to knock it into shape as a song, but then after a while we just thought, no, that the initial synth one is that's the bare bones of it, and that's what we like about it. So it was really nice to have some of Joe Russo's songs on the album. So not only Pearl Like You, but he wrote the music for or the initial sort of framework of Endless Room, of Eastern Beach. And then Tom did the vocal on it, and then we knocked it into shape as a song. And Joe also did the song Caught Low, same sort of idea that he'd had the nuts and bolts of it, and then Tom put the vocal over it. So it's nice to have Joe right at the outset of the album.
I've been caught low.
When we were recording that, we had the actual recording of it, which Joe did, and then we also replayed that and blasted it through the house, and then had our producer, Matt Duffy, walk around with a Zoom mic, a portable mic, where he walks into the house while it's playing, and then you can hear the creaking. And so it's just this natural fade in, because it's just the sound of a microphone approaching the house.
Right.
And then we had the full version of that song is he then leaves the house and then walks out, and you can hear his footsteps into the distance, and then the song sort of peters out. But
would have been the end of the record.
Would have been the end of the record. Yeah, we didn't do that, and time was at a premium, so we ended up cutting that down so that we could fit on all the songs.
Right. So that does lead into Tidal River, which has been out, and you've made a video and all that. So it seems to be, a kind of standout on the record. Well, I kind of have read about it, but folks will want to hear from you what it means to you, this song.
Ceilings on fire, trains live in the station. If it's January, we're on vacation. Take your complaint to the United Nations. I feel my wave coming on. See how blue, see how bright. Eternal purple, morning light.
Well, I didn't write the lyrics. Tom Russo did, and I really first time I heard them, I just love them, because it's really is this. I don't know. It's a missive on where the complacency that is beset our country, particularly our politics in our country. It's just, Tom said it before, if there was a complacency Olympics, Australia would win the gold, particularly under this federal government that we have in the middle of an election campaign at the moment. But yeah, it's this sense of both being lucky and mean. Right. Somehow you can be both of those things, lucky and selfish, which is just it's that's gone through our nation's history all throughout, that the lucky country, which was stolen, white Australia doing its best to make sure that First Nations people couldn't enjoy what white settlement had stolen, and then jealously guarding it, particularly in the last 20 years or so, since early 2000s in particular. Our refugee policy has just been inhumane and seemingly and getting worse, and seemingly no signs of changing. It's something that is it's a real shame, and it's and we're not like an overtly political band. We all are politically engaged individually, but we've never really seen it as our place to be so overtly political, but because at our heart we sort of want to be optimistic, but it's hard to not let some of that filter in. So and Tidal River is something that we're all very proud to stand behind. I'm proud of Tom's lyrics.
Right. So we've talked about Tom's song, we've talked about Joe's song. Let's talk about one of yours. I don't have the credits, so I've listened to the album, but I don't know who's. So you pick one that you'd like to tell me about.
Okay. I'll tell you about. Well. So Bounce Off the Bottom is the last song on the album. And,
sure. Okay.
Yeah. So the idea is, standing at the bottom of a pool and looking up through the wavering window in the water.
Bounce off the bottom, window in the water. Bounce off the bottom, window in the water. Keeping the back low, keeping the one close, running for shelter back through the hedges, tipping the balance one by one.
And that was just the thing that sort of guided the start of the song. It was my clue in. I just had the phrase "bounce off the bottom window in the water," and I sat down at the guitar, and just the first three chords just came out straight away. And then I just fell into that old disco thing I was talking about before.
Right. Yeah.
It was a song that just like some songs just feel like they just come out. You're just excavating them. That they were already there. It really sort of felt like it came together in real time. I just wrote it one night at home on the couch. I had a lot of the lyrics straight away, and then other ones I just chipped away at, but I already knew the shape of the jigsaw pieces. And the rough tint of them, but I just chipped away at and got them over the course of the next few weeks. But 2 nights after, I think it's 2 nights after that I wrote it on the couch, we had a practice and just worked on each of the 3 sections of that song, and just slowly was just on one section for 20 minutes, half an hour, and then the next and the next, and then just slowly stitched them together. And by the end of the night, we had the song like fully realized. And it doesn't happen all the time, but it's a special feeling when it does. Right. But the lyrics themselves are just, I want it to be sort of circular and not clear whether it's looking back on and lamenting the passing or the passing of time since, or looking forward to and throwing off but I think a lot of the songs on this album are sort of like that. It's, love, love loss. And so it felt like, and it just immediately felt like the right way. Just the feel of the song felt like it was the right way to finish the album. So yes.
Yeah. Excellent. So what do you got planned for Friday when the record's out?
Well, we're doing a little launch in Collingwood at Sound Merch, which is it was a merch company which had a warehouse, and now it's like a full-on bar and record store.
Excellent.
So they've just opened up a new HQ. So we're going to be playing there on Friday. We've got some DJs, some friends DJing, and it's going to be really nice. Unfortunately we don't have the vinyl yet.
Well, everybody's got the same problem, and they're all blaming Adele, so you can blame her. Apparently,
we're blaming Adele, are we?
Adele, apparently her album hogged all the pressing plants, and nobody else can get anything pressed.
I thought it was okay. There you go. All right, we'll blame Adele. Yeah, but that's all right.
That's just what I've heard.
Yeah. When in doubt, no. But that'll be all right. It'll come out a few weeks after that, as long as people can hear it on the Friday. It'll be out.
They'll be able to hear. Yeah. So do you like the fact that, I mean, as an artist and and it's a business for you as well. So suddenly on Friday, everybody's going to be able to hear it for basically for free because they'll all have Spotify or Tidal or something going,
Yeah.
and they don't have to buy anything. They don't have to head out to the store, pick up the copy. How do you feel about that?
I don't. You can't really struggle against the tide too much. Like streaming is here to stay.
Yep.
And vinyl sales are getting better year on year or so. I'm told. But no, yeah. Also, I don't know. So I read or so I recall. But I mean, the thing for me is that the streaming companies need to, get a lot, pay a lot more to the rights holders.
Yep.
And hopefully that will happen in time when there's an awareness. I feel like there's just not an awareness amongst just the general public about how little artists make from Spotify. It's known in certain circles, but most people wouldn't know about that. And I feel like in time, once it already is the part of the furniture now, streaming, and it will stay part of the furniture. I feel like these pushes will get stronger and stronger in time, and it's up to independent labels to hold the line and say, well, you're not going to have the service that you're selling if we hold the line. So I don't know. Ultimately, I'm optimistic. I don't know whether it's delusion or not, but I feel like if the fight can be brought to them and that rights holders can be paid better than they are now, then we're in a better position than we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Gotcha. Yeah. And of course, the fact that you can, at least with this record now, you can go out and play the songs, which you couldn't do in the last one. So,
if worrying about things that I actually can control, yes, we can go and play shows now.
Are you coming to New Zealand?
Sorry?
Are you coming to
No, I don't think we've got anything booked yet, but we were going to be going. There was talk of going over there, but we weren't going to have enough time to because we're going to the States. But I know we all want to get over there. The only time we've been over there was Auckland for Laneway Festival a few years ago. But I know we definitely want to get over there. So hopefully we'll do that as soon as we can.
We have a great local scene here, but there's only so many times you can see each artist. So we need some international things happening. So it'd be a very good thing. Yeah. All righty. Very good. Well, thank you for taking time telling me about the new record. Good luck with everything on Friday. Hope you have a good time celebrating the release, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the flesh at some point.
Yeah, we'd love to get there. Yeah. All right. Thanks very much, buddy.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.